Welcome to the Greater in Me podcast, y'all.
Welcome back.
Don't let people take you for granted. Is the lesson of that.
Amen.
How you feeling today?
I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling super hopeful. I've been I guess for the past week, I've been feeling really positive and just trying to keep my mind stayed on being positive and hopeful for the future.
That's good.
Yeah. How about you?
Gonna start cutting throats.
Yo,
Gonna
guys,
start
Josh
cutting.
had a really eventful weekend. Can we?
Oh yeah,
Hello.
I did. I
Yeah.
did. Yeah, I did. I had a
Tell
great
the
weekend.
people.
So let's just skip to Sunday. So Sunday I opened no
No, Saturday he had a showcase and he did
Fri-
amazing. I wasn't there in person, but I live streamed.
Friday.
Oh, that was Friday. Okay.
Yeah, Friday I had a showcase for that was school related, but it was just me. So that was dope. And we actually locked in. So that was dope. Um and then Sunday the price went up. Um I am now trying to figure out what are my next moves. Um
So unserious.
I'm so serious though. Like I'm so serious. Monday I woke up to anyways. Okay, so yeah, so Sunday I did another performance. I opened up for a Grammy Award winner.
Period. Tell him who.
He goes by the name of Thomas, Leon Thomas. You may know him from Victorious. He played
Andre.
Andre. Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
He wrote all those songs basically on that. He write for SZA, Ariana Grande. Who else he write for? Brandy, I think he wrote for before.
Ooh.
Yeah, he's up there. He in his bag for real. Now he's just in his like own personal artistry bag, tapping back in
Yeah.
with his discography, his music, and is doing really well. So he like came and did a concert here on Sunday. So that was really nice. And he was a really nice dude. Like he was cool, very humble too. So
You said. That's amazing.
he was so dope. So yeah, price went up. Book me in the
Period.
most humblest way, but the price went up.
No,
Like
yeah. For sure.
uh 1 second, I'm so sorry, so sorry. But yeah, so that was that. What else is new in life?
Well, I'm here with you because there's a lot going on with you. There's not much going on with me. It's just exam season. Um,
It is exam. I have an
I
exam
guess the
tomorrow.
semester's kind of at the halfway point because y'all are about to have spring break and I am too, I guess.
I have an exam tomorrow.
You got it.
Yeah, I do.
What class?
Live sound and concert.
Hmm.
Very intricate and a lot of details. I'm still confused on, but okay.
That's okay.
Um, but yeah, that's just what life is. Full of opportunities. You gotta take them and snatch them when they arrive because
Yes.
that
Yes.
is what life is about. Um, yeah, life is just a game every single day. And some people are about to start getting their throats cut. Anyways, I know we've talked about this before, but like this whole Mr. Nice act, and let me be sure. Let me rephrase that because it's not an act. I think it really is who people are. But
Mm-hmm.
some people are just so abusive with what they get from other people, and they don't know how to take good care of what they've been getting.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so they overuse and abuse people, especially when they present themselves as just a kind guy.
So
Because
do you
I
think it's less of no more Mr. Nice Guy and more of just learning how to set hard boundaries that you're no longer
no. So like
okay.
yes, a little bit, but like no, because I think you can set those boundaries all you want. You got to
Mm-hmm.
communicate them though. And
Hmm.
it's also other people's jobs to be receptive of them, whether they
Yeah.
agree or disagree with them or not. So sometimes when you may have communicated that boundary and people still overstep or still talk crazy or still do some out of line, sometimes checking them in the nice way doesn't work. And I'm not saying like the golly way don't work or whatever. Not that the nice way is always whatever. Um, Sometimes you got to have a little conviction in the way that you talk to people, a little clarity in your throat, a little bottom bass to even it out. Um, because I've come to realize some people just don't get it.
Yeah.
They just don't.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I think people I think it ties back to you said this me saying last week, but this was a few weeks ago because we pre-recorded. But on the last pod, you said something like people what'd you say? It was in my mind and now it's not. You said people are entitled. And I think that goes like hand in hand with people just like pushing your boundaries. Like, yes, the boundary is set, but people are like, how far can I get to the boundary? And then how much more can I just keep pushing until your boundary now moves back?
And then
Um,
when we blow up and tick tick boom, now what? Like now what? Now
yeah.
what? But yeah, the entitlement gotta go. Gotta go. I just told my residents that they're so entitled. Gotta go. Like
Mm.
relax.
That's just
Um,
the lack of home training. I
yeah,
hate to say it.
yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah.
But some of us aren't well home trained either.
Yeah.
Uh,
Okay. But them more so than us.
to to
Um, you got a question for us this week?
you
I
know,
forgot to ask.
you know, I do.
Okay, perfect.
When life hands you lemons, what are you making?
Like figuratively or literally?
Figuratively.
Okay, well, lemonade. But um not just plain
That's
lemonade.
literally though.
N- well, isn't that the saying? Okay, okay. Right, I heard you. I heard you. I hear you. I'm going to answer for both cuz it's not just plain lemonade. It's going to be some like raspberry peach lemonade. Maybe a little sparkling something. Um I guess figuratively I'm making light of it. Like I'm looking at the glass half full. I'm pressing into the positivity like I said when we first started. Like I think that that is just the attitude that I'm more receiving of. And we talked about this last pod too. So I like how this is all connecting, but you said something like people aren't always receptive to the positive person because they can like perceive it as annoying or like I
Sometimes
guess a
we
little bit delulu, but I don't know, I'm seeing more and more that there's such a goodness, there's so much peace that comes with seeing the glasses half full and, like, holding on to the positivity and the good out of everything because I think that when you just focus on the negativity or focus on, like, the bad
then
part of Huh?
focus on the what?
Negativity? Sorry, I didn't enunciate my word. Um, but yeah, I feel like when you just always look at the negative, it just becomes a default. And I think the same thing with the positive when you're always looking at what light you can make out of whatever your situation is, that just becomes the default. And that default allows you to keep taking steps forward to get to wherever you need to go to. So that is what I'm doing with the lemons.
Sometimes the positive person is just also deemed as kind of like weak too sometimes. I feel
Explain it.
like just because I feel like a lot of people think that like a lot of people think that first, let me say this, yes, life comes with struggle. Being alive and just breathing comes with struggle.
Mm,
On the contrary, a lot of people think that like the additive struggles or the self-inflicted struggles or the things that we voluntarily sign up for um are things that we have to go through if it is causing you pain. And then when you speak to the light of it or speak to the thing, to the bad apple in the bunch, um now you're weak minded because you can't see how this maybe traumatic or painful thing is supposed to like curate something good inside of you.
Can you give me like a genuine like example? Cuz
No.
like I hear you but I'm not all the way there.
Um yeah.
If you have one.
Yeah. Um you know how some people are just like, oh, just throw the like that is a true fact though. But like, oh, just throw the baby in the water. Like he got to swim. Like he'll figure it out. Like it's like human instincts will kick in. Like
Mhm.
you got it. They'll figure it out. And it's just like, you know, but you can also just learn to swim, or you can also just wait a second, or the whole thing about like black people, oh, we have tough skin because of the way we grew up. Yeah,
Mhm.
true. But like, was it necessary for every single thing that we went through to build that? Like, we could have took some alternative routes, you
Okay.
know?
Okay. I think I'm getting it a little bit more. I think I think I'm getting it a little bit more. I think I might have missed a part of something you said. But are you trying to say like sometimes the positive person can be deemed as weak because we see something that could have been avoided in the situation that we're in
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
versus just like accepting it as it is and like
Yep.
okay. Yeah, I agree.
Yep. I just think because of that, I don't know. I just feel like that's the way the world works sometimes. Like when you don't want to conform to the ways of something, um, then you're not good enough, or you're weak enough. You're not. Oh, it was supposed to build you up, or you know what I'm saying,
Mm.
like that.
Mhm.
That's like nah, like everything is pretty much okay. Like, there's some other things that's already doing that.
Yeah.
Just by waking up every day.
Yeah.
I have another
Okay.
question. What's one
Wait, you
thing?
answer. Life
Whoa.
is giving you lemons. What are you doing?
Uh, Eating them. It's good for you, and it's a good antioxidant actually.
Gosh, not literally.
um, I'm a fly. I'm a soar. Uh, I'm just gonna jump right on it and go. Like
Yeah.
never look back and literally trust God. Like literally just have faith. Um, Everything gonna work. Like I'm literally just gonna be like, okay, bet God, let's do this. He gonna lift me up from that water, just like he did Peter.
Mhm.
That's what he gonna do. What, oh my God, what did Emmanuel say the other day in Impact? Our dang it. I wish I remember. But she basically was saying we were talking about faith and peace. And dang, I wish I would have remembered what she said, bruh. She basically, because we basically talking about how like peace and faith allude with one another. Like you gotta
Mhm.
have faith to see beyond what's happening to have peace. So she basically was like, your peace is a direct correlation to basically how little or how much you are trusting in God, like how much you
Mhm.
actually believe and have faith that like He's gonna pull you through.
Yeah.
Like if you're putting all your faith, or I think so often we believe that like we think that we have such this big faith, or like we have like at least sometimes I do. Like I'm like, yeah, I trust. Like yeah. Like I'm prayed up. Like
Mhm.
and the second like something happens, it's kind of like, and it's not like by by intent. It's just by like ways of happening. Like
Mhm.
the snap of a finger, something happens, and you're like, all of a sudden you find yourself like, dang, like I don't know if I can get through this. I don't know if I could do this. Like
I
I
literally just saw a video on that too. The lady was saying that like a lot of times we think that our faith is so solid and we think that like we're placing our faith in God. But as soon as the circumstance we're having faith for doesn't come through or doesn't go the way we thought it was supposed to go, all hell breaks loose. But then that speaks to the fact that our faith was never in God, because
Right.
God is solid. Like, he is who
Right.
he is. If you're trusting in God, then no matter what the circumstance looks like, or no matter how left or right your situation went, you're still trusting that God is going to see you through it. But your faith was more so placed in what you wanted to happen, like the outcome.
Right. Right. It wasn't really set on like God's intention. You weren't really trying to be in the center of His will. And
Yeah.
I think that's the test of life, honestly, because, and I'll even talk about that story, like with Peter, like they were on that boat, and Jesus walked in that water to come and get him, and he didn't believe that it was him. In that scripture, he was
Mhm.
like, it's a ghost. Jesus was like,
Mhm.
it is me. What are you talking about? And he comes and he's like, come with me, let's go. So he starts and he walks on water. But the second he gets on water, he's still terrified. Like he's not trusting that Jesus is taking him through. It starts to sink, starts to go down, crying out, screaming for help. God is like, you ain't got no faith. Jesus literally looked at him and was like, you're not believing nothing.
Yeah.
You're still doubting and questioning me when I'm literally right here in front of you, showing you the way out of this.
Mhm.
Um, and I think that is just, he literally says, it is like, I'm here. And I think so often that's exactly what happens. Our hearing, our visions are clouded by like what's going on, by what the world is doing. Because oftentimes we put faith into these systems of the world, and then get upset when these systems that weren't even designed for us let us
Mhm.
down. Um, so yeah, not conforming to this system, but conforming to the God's will, because He's the one who set it up in the beginning.
Mhm. I think too, we talked about in a private conversation, not on the pod, but we talked about how, like, to build off what you said, like, most of these systems that we operate in were man made and, like, not God divinely created. So it's also like God doesn't adhere to the rules of this world. Like, he doesn't adhere to the rules of these systems.
Right.
We operate with a God who operates in the supernatural. So it's also
Right.
recognizing that, like, yeah, there are rules here and like there's systems in place that technically sometimes we do have to adhere to, but also having our faith rooted in God and not in these systems allows us to operate in that supernatural, to allows us to have that faith, to trust that our God is taking us through above and beyond like what we can see and what we understand and what we conceive in these systems.
Totally.
um but that also is what keeps us going too, and like I think a lot of times too, that's what gives us that extra faith and like desire and courage to step boldly in things that we may not necessarily be completely qualified for in the eyes of man, but understanding that like, yeah, God just doesn't adhere to the rules and regulations of the systems that we've put in place because he's God.
Yeah, and I think we have to believe that the supernatural is real too. Like it's not it's crazy what happens in supernatural. Which that
Mhm.
is literally takes the belief. It takes the faith that like that those type of things can happen. Like miracles can happen. Miracles happen in the supernatural, and we bring them to life by
Mhm.
just speaking about them and telling people who God is. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, because it's not to be played with at all, actually. But that supernatural is really what saves us from a lot of stuff. And yeah, I can't talk about it enough. But yeah, I have another question. Uh, what's one thing you want to experience?
Hmm. One thing. This sounds so cliche, I guess, but I just finished All About Love by Bell Hooks. And it made me one realize how sinister the world is about actually finding like true love, and in terms of like romantic love. But also just love in general, like the concept of experiencing true, pure, blissful love. Um so one thing I really want to experience, which I obviously have a really loving community around me of like family and friends. So I do experience love, but I do want to like have that like fairy tale romance. And I know it sounds so cheesy and corny, and I hate that that's my response, but yeah, like I want to experience like true partnership. I want my person and I want to like build with them and grow with them. Like I
Yeah.
really, really, really want to experience that.
Yeah.
And I think that like because I've been single literally all my life, I've maybe downplayed how much I wanted that or understood that I wanted it but never like wanted to say it because it's like, "Ugh, that's so embarrassing or that's so typical." Like girls always want to like find their prince charming or whatever. But yeah, like I want to experience that.
You think you taken actions to experience such thing?
Oh, um, one would argue that I don't because I'm in the house. However, I think that I have. I think
You
that I
have.
have in the sense of doing like I've grown so much as a person in the last 3 plus years. Um, and I think that all the self work I've done has allowed me to like actually hold on to that hope as like a genuine thing that I can have in the future. And like not only just have it just to experience it, but have it to experience in its fullness. I think that because I am where I am right now and I'm only continuing to grow, I've set myself up, or more so God has set me up in a really good place for me to find love but experience it in a way that is so fruitful and like would only lead to growth. And like I don't know what I'm trying to say, but I'm trying to say that yes. I think that I have.
You have
Okay.
sometimes.
I'm only in the house because I know that soon I'm not going to be in the house. So.
Mm. Um, that was such a beautiful answer. One thing I want to experience. I don't. Okay, I'm just gonna say the first thing that comes to mind. Yeah, it's coming together. So the first thing that came to mind was, and I'm not a materialistic person, was wealth,
Mm,
but not because like money is like money drives me and like would make me do crazy things, but in the sense of just being able to be in a place financially where me and my black family can be comfortable with living, um, and not running this rigor and like all
mm,
this, oh my god, this race of just like
mm,
always trying to keep up. Um, it held us back from so much, not
yeah.
having the desired amount of money. And I was just thinking about this the other day too, because somebody was asking me to like do something that I actually really, really want to do, but it kind of conflicted with a lot of other things on the schedule too, but like including work. And I was talking to this person about this, saying that like a lot of the times, what has happened already is that black people are driven away from like their dreams or their desires because they have to live in this world. So it's not always about like what you want to do. It's about
Mm,
what can I do right now to sustain my living like on this
mhm,
planet.
mhm,
Um so that sometimes means like getting that McDonald's job or like taking the first job that you get that doesn't
mhm.
completely align with the place that you might necessarily want to be. And I don't think that a lot of people recognize the privilege that a lot of people have when they can just decide to jump and like follow a career or keep going and
Yeah. That's
do it.
been that's been a really big conversation for me and my friends too because bruh, being pre-med, or honestly, a lot of professions, you don't realize, bruh, school, like, you don't even realize step by step by step by step how much they want from you financially. Like,
Financially.
forget mentally, forget like physical capabilities, like, forget all of that. Literally, just the finances. And it's like, yeah, think about how many people have to literally turn down opportunities. It's not that they're not capable, they just
Just
can't.
can't do it.
And it's really sad, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, that's just something I really, and I know I will, but that is just something I
Yeah.
really just want to have. Like, I don't want people to be worried. Like, I want us to live the same way our white counterparts are living.
Yeah.
Like,
If not
they are,
better.
they're right. Yeah. If not better. Because I actually want to be
Yeah.
happy. But yeah, they just aren't worried about anything. And it's not even like, well, I was going to say it's not jealousy, but like, yeah, that is part of something I want. But, I'm not jealous of their lives. I'm just like, y'all, it's just such a difference in just like seeing like how we as black students move on campus versus how they move. Like they are genuinely not concerned. Like
Mm.
they're just not concerned. So crazy to me.
Mm.
Um,
I
but
think
yeah,
that ties into something that I've also been recently, as in the past 2 days, um, kind of meditating on is the pursuit of purpose over pleasure and understanding that the more I pursue my purpose, pleasure will also come. Um, and I think that that ties into that beautifully because a lot of those kids get to pursue pleasures, but that place of lack, and this kind of ties into what you were saying before in terms of just like people being like, oh, well, we just have tough skin, so we just have to like thug it out. I think that like for a lot of cases, that is just what we got to do. And yes, there is a better way, but unfortunately, because we're products of like our own the system we're in and like our society, we're forced to have to do a lot of things that we shouldn't have to do. But there is a beauty in that struggle in the sense of a lot of us are forced to pursue purpose rather than just the pleasures. But in pursuing our
totally.
purpose and finding our purpose, pleasure is also something that we get. So, like you said, you want that, if not better. The better is getting to that point, but still being happy. Getting to that
Totally.
point, but still having a whole community with you. Getting to that point, but still being of sound mind, you know? Um, and I think that there's so much beauty in that as well because I think for the longest time I had such a hard time accepting the fact that mm, maybe not a hard time accepting the fact that I had to pursue my purpose, but more so a hard time accepting the fact that I had to let go of like the pleasures or let go
Mm,
of just like being comfortable in order to get me to that place of purely just pursuing what I know is for me even though it's hard because at the end of that pleasure will also be in that place. Um so yeah, that's something I've also been thinking about a lot recently as I've just gotten to the thick of this whole season. Um Yeah. And I think that there's a lot of
yeah.
beauty in that, and there's a lot of strength that comes from that place too. Um,
Yeah.
in knowing
Because
that that pursuit of purpose will bring pleasure.
for sure, and it will come to fruition. It will happen. But I also think that's the goal. Like having it with peace of mind too, and not having it to like pull you so far away from yourself that now you're somewhere that you can't even recognize you.
Yeah.
Um, but just to live authentically. Okay, all right. Is that what this pod is about? Yeah. Okay, I think that's a great place to wrap it up because hopefully you guys will even see this. What's one thing that's greater in you?
Hope. Hope is one thing that's greater in me. I think that there's, as much as it may seem that there's not much to have hope for, I would differ. I would argue that we have a lot to hope for. Um, yeah, I'm just feeling really hopeful. And then one thing I wish that were greater in me. Mm, I still think a level of like boldness. I think that as you continue to grow and just become more confident and
You
comfortable
gotta
in
learn
your
how to snap on
skin.
more people's necks. Yup.
think as you like
Yup.
continue to just become more and comfortable and confident in your own skin and in who you are, that's great. But I think that there's always like, well, I think there's a balance. I think that some people become like super cocky, I guess, and arrogant. Um, but like being humble but also bold, and being humble and also being confident in my abilities and like what I bring to the table. Um, and also just like sharing more and like not being afraid or holding things back for like a fear of how I am going to be perceived by the next person, but just like doing it in spite of all of that. So yeah.
Yeah, that's a good thing. It's a beautiful thing. Because as you learn more about yourself, you just gotta keep riding that wave because so many different things will come and challenge
Mhm.
and try to like pull you away from that. One thing I know is greater in me is love. Um, and like the act of doing so, and just treating people great. Or treating people in which the way I want to be treated. That is what I was saying. One thing I wish was greater in me is is I'll say faith actually, because I think faith can always be challenged. So
Mhm.
um, yeah, like I'm looking forward to the challenges that come to make me continue to grow my faith strong in Christ and believe that I can just walk with Him wherever I go, even if it's like and truly believe that and what it means to like live that out. Like I want to see that through. So yeah, but yeah.
Beautiful.
Thank you guys for tuning in once again to the Greater in
Yay.
Me podcast. To the Greater in Me
Oh yeah, you didn't
podcast.
do that at the
To the Greater
beginning.
in Me podcast.
I
Yeah,
hope you guys are enjoying. Okay,
Corey.
wrap it up. 'Cause every
Okay,
time I try to put my computer on D&D, bruh, it always fails me.
okay. Thanks, guys.
Hold on.
Just say bye.
Bye, guys.